the renewal and unity mandate is also about how we should go about uniting our alliance. The alliance had become weakened and divided leading up to the 54th ANC conference. We have been mandated to strengthen and to unite the alliance. The alliance must be a living organism of our revolution. As we strengthen the alliance, we should also focus on how we lead governance in our country, because in the end, comrades, we are a governing alliance. The alliance must therefore be so united that we continue consulting one another from national, provincial, regional, even at local level. We must work as a well-oiled machine, where one arm of the alliance is weak, the other arm must strengthen the alliance partner. We must walk in unison, never leaving any component of the alliance behind. We have been given the responsibility by millions of South Africans to govern the country as an alliance, which is led by the African National Congress. Yes, the SACP wants to see a reconfigured alliance. That is a matter that we are going to discuss at the political council when all the alliance partners are together. And we will be approaching those discussions with the sole purpose of making sure that the alliance becomes a fighting alliance, that the alliance becomes strengthened, that the alliance becomes an alliance of equal partners, as led unmistakably and undeniably by the African National Congress. That is the type of alliance, comrades, that we must build and strengthen. For us to do so means that we should, as we strengthen our governance processes, we should also focus on implementing the decisions that were taken at our 54th conference without fail. Our members, even at the conference, have all complained about that we do not implement the decisions that were taken at the conferences. Now, comrades, this has been a recurring complaint throughout our movement. And well, I can say that we are now going to change that. And we are going to make sure that the decisions that were taken at the 54th conference are going to be implemented. Whether we like it or not, they will be implemented. The decisions that were taken, comrades, are meant to advance the national democratic revolution, which in the end is aimed at improving the lives of our people. Our focus in the end, as we implement these resolutions, is to reduce unemployment, eradicate poverty and inequality in our country. We are going to speed up the job creation process, particularly amongst the youth. And it is for this reason that we have supported the launch of the Youth Employment Service. We want to open pathways for young people so that young people can see that there is hope for them in the future, as South Africa is a country that they are going to inherit. We are working hard to make sure that young people in our country have great opportunities. We want to assist them as much as we possibly can, and we are going to be looking for further ways through which we can do so. We want them to play out their innovative talent. We want them to continue to be the creative young people that they ought to be. And as part of that, comrades, we are going to also focus on the empowerment of women as a great priority, because women in our country continue to bear the burden of oppression, to bear the burden of poverty and being left behind. Our government is going to focus on how we can empower the women of our country going forward. But as we do that, we're also going to focus on another important aspect, which our conference focused on, of ridding our country of this whole practice and process of the abuse of women and children in our country. And we say we want the abuse of women and children to come to an end. The killing of women and the rape of women has to be brought to an end, and we want it to come to an end now and not tomorrow. And we call on our men in our country, to treat the women of our country with dignity, with respect, and with honor. And we say men must now stand up and say, yes, we are going to treat the women of our country as equals, as our sisters, as our mothers, as our aunts, and we are going to treat them with respect and honor. Down with the abuse of women, down. Down with the killing of women in our country, down. Comrades, as part of implementing the resolutions of our conference, we will be speeding up the land reform process as decided by our conference. The return of land to our people is paramount, as it will restore the assets that were taken from our people. The expropriation of land without compensation is one of the instruments we shall use to ensure that the aspiration that was articulated by our forebears in the Freedom Charter is fulfilled, that the land shall be shared amongst those who work it. We will also work to grow our economy by encouraging investors to invest in our economy. We have appointed investment envoys to go throughout our own country, through the African continent and the world, to go and raise 1.3 trillion rand in the next 5 years. We want a lot of that money to also come here in Limpopo to be invested in this very province. Anale enyaka chelete una, renyaka orecha bonamo Limpopo. Comrades, it is important that we focus on sectors of our economy, sectors that we believe have growth potential. This is the economic trajectory that our government is going to focus on. As we go to our Lekgotla, as the ANC, and later as government, and I hope that it also helps to inform the Lekgotla that you will have here in this province, to focus on the growth potential of various sectors in our economy, so that we as government can show leadership and direct investments in those sectors. I believe that it is possible to grow our economy to also a level of 3% in this year. Much as we saw a contraction of 2.2% in the last quarter, I believe that there's still great potential. Limpopo is well endowed with a lot of resources, both mineral, agricultural, and of course the biggest resource that we have is the people of Limpopo. And we want those people to be properly deployed, to be properly skilled, so that everyone in Limpopo can play a key role in the growth of the economy of Limpopo. I will be working very closely with Premier Matabate to see what nodes of the economy of Limpopo we can focus on, so that we can generate growth and get our people in employment. So you ain't seen nothing yet. You're still going to see great things that we want to do here in Limpopo. Limpopo ito hula. Rikoto the economy ya a province. Ichia panda. Ilava economy ya la Limpopo ikula sinen. Unwan na unwan lokalanguta Limpopo. Aku yo. Limpopo inti yiso. It has become the bread basket of the whole Republic of South Africa. Comrades, the other important resolution that was taken by our conference, which we are advancing, which we have also advanced, and I raise this advisedly because this is where Limpopo can play a key role. It is around education. We have implemented free education at institutions of higher learning to children of the poor and working class families. And we're doing it on a phased basis, and we believe that through doing this, we are fulfilling that aspiration that was set out in the Freedom Charter. When it comes to basic education, I believe that the 85% of the schools that are low-fee schools has actually contributed a lot to the universal education project that we had. But Limpopo still has a lot of work to do. Limpopo has been trailing behind when it comes to education. Limpopo has always performed well in a number of schools. Those schools must now be the standard that will be followed by other schools. Schools such as Kwiti, schools such as Lemana, schools such as Mbiri are schools that set the national agenda or standard. Mbiri produces some of the outstanding mathematicians in the whole nation, and we want Limpopo to copy what is happening at Mbiri. Limpopo can rise to the occasion. There is no reason why education in Limpopo is trailing behind other provinces. Today, the Free State, you're not Free State, is. Use the Free State as your standard. Use the Free State as your standard, and Limpopo must advance further in education. As a government, we are pouring a lot of resources in education, and we expect for Limpopo will live up to the good standard that has been set up by a number of schools. If we can do it, why can the other schools in this province not do it? All we have to do is to do it like Mbiri and produce the best mathematicians in our country. On health, comrades, Comrade Aaron Mutwaledi has presented to the nation the National Health Insurance Bill. He has also presented another bill on medical aids. This was a decision that was taken by the ANC conferences in the past. And we are saying the National Health Insurance is now here. And we are going to implement it whether people like it or not. If it is the NHI. And comrades, we want all of us to rally behind the National Insurance Health. There are those who do not want national health insurance, and we are saying the way to present and deliver the best healthcare system in our country to all the people of our country is to have a national health insurance system. And now we are going to speed ahead to ensure that the people of our country have the best health that South Africa can give. And we are going to be able to deliver this through the NHI. In July, comrades, we will be hosting BRICS countries. Brazil, Russia, India, and China will be descending on our country. South Africa, as you all know, is part of BRICS, and together with these BRICS countries, we will also invite a number of other countries in our outreach process, countries from the rest of the continent and other countries from other continents. This will put our country on the world stage. And through BRICS, we've been able to raise the profile of what needs to be done in the developing economies of the world. BRICS is an important progressive structure to us as it makes us associate with countries that are pro-development, countries that have progressive policies. There will be important decisions that will be taken to advance the economies of these BRIC countries. Ahead of that, we will also be receiving one of the BRICS countries on a state visit. Along with our relations with BRICS countries, our foreign relations policies, comrades, is pivoted and based on advancing the interests of our own continent. The advancement of the interests of the people of our continent is underpinned by stability, human rights, and peace. It is in this regard, comrades, that we stand here and condemn the cowardly, barbaric acts that took place in Bulawayo yesterday and Addis Ababa.